What's going on, guys? So in a recent video I talked about calories in versus calories out, and I specifically dove into the calorie out side of it and how you can do activities to improve this, which will then enhance body composition. Well, I had a follow-up question about what type of cardio specifically is most effective for body composition. I thought, you know what, this is a great question, so I want to dive in a little deeper on cardio and what you should focus on if your goal is body recomposition. Check it out. Now, let me start off in saying any activity is good activity. So before you get too deep in the weeds and worried about, okay, what type of cardio should I be doing? Where should my heart rate be? You need to just be doing focused activities. So if that's not in your daily routine, in one of your habits, just focus on being active and getting things done. From there, once those things are in place, then we can dive deeper into, okay, what type of cardio makes the most sense. So let's define cardio, what we're talking about here. So there are three basic types of cardio. There's high intensity, moderate intensity, and low intensity. Now, all of these are based on a percentage of your max heart rate, okay? Now, how you figure this, it's dependent on your age. So you take 220, subtract that from your age, and then that gives you a total. So for example, somebody who's 40, you're looking at 90%. Okay, so high intensity then is based on that number. It is between 80 to 90% of your max heart rate. For moderate intensity, we're talking between 60 to 80%, and for low intensity is below 60%. Now, I know there's some gaps there, but there's not a clear line between going from moderate to high. There's going to be some gray there, but as a general rule, those are the percentages that we're going to talk about today. So the two distinguishing factors between the cardio is your energy sources. So for high intensity, your main energy source is going to be anaerobic, or you're going to use glycogen for energy. Now, anything that's less than that 80% is going to be the aerobic energy system, which that's using oxygen for energy. Now, both of those are going to be effective for increasing metabolism. However, as I mentioned in that prior video, which I'll put in the description below, the high intensity is going to significantly increase your calorie burn over time, whereas the moderate intensity, you're not going to see that as much as you would the high intensity. The low intensity, very little metabolism boost. In fact, you're pretty much going to burn those extra calories right there when you're doing them at the time. So between all of that, which is the most effective one to use for fat loss? Well, the answer is the high intensity and the moderate intensity. So the reason is the high intensity, like I mentioned before, it's going to help increase that metabolism big time through a process called EPOC, or exercise post-oxygen consumption. And what this does is it increases the calorie burn after you get done doing the cardio. The moderate intensity, when I say moderate intensity, remember that's at 60 to 8%. You're going to use oxygen as your primary energy source. However, you're going to still burn calories and you're going to increase that metabolism. You're not going to get the same effect as the metabolism boost from the high intensity. However, the moderate intensity is not going to beat you up like the high intensity would when you do that frequently. Now, what about the low intensity, Irwin? Does that even have a place in this? It does, and this is kind of the differentiating factor between the moderate and the high intensity as well. The low intensity is going to be very easy on your body. It's going to help with recovery. However, again, you're not going to burn a lot of calories while you're doing it, and you're certainly not going to increase your metabolism after the fact. So my recommendation is focus on that middle range and the high range, and you decide between your recovery and what your body can handle as far as how often you do both. Now, like I mentioned in the opener, any activity is great activity. So if I've got somebody who's relatively untrained, we're going to start with that low intensity cardio and then work our way up. So, in this video, you'll notice that I do the elliptical for the high intensity because it's hard and I struggle to have the maximum intensity that I need to do it on a treadmill, running, or something of that sort. Whereas in elliptical, I can increase the resistance and I can really jack up my heart rate. So for you, you have to determine it's not about what exercise or motion you do, it's about the intensity and getting that peak heart rate. That's your target. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope this video helped clarify what type of cardio to do if you want to maximize fat loss. I'm also going to include a link in the description below to that calories in, calories out study. Here it is right here as well. If you have questions, feel free to put in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. If you liked it, hit the like button, share with others, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and until next time, keep making every day count.